Welcome, everybody, to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube and StreamYard.com today. I am your host, Anthony Florio, joined as always by good old MF Michael Fletcher, the First Lady of the Wrestling Forum, the Twisted Angel, Gigi Woodson, and not much more to say except tonight was the go-home edition Monday Night Raw for the Clash of Champions event this Sunday night. And without any further ado, we're going to start things off. Retribution. Before we get into that, just wanted to address the commentary situation. Tom Phillips back as the voice of Monday Night Raw this evening. But you noticed for the second week in a row, no Samoa Joe. But we were joined by a familiar voice, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler, Kingfish, on the show tonight. So good to see him as always, along with Byron Saxton. And I heard rumblings about possibly Samoa Joe might be cleared to return to action. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. But for right now, let's address Retribution. And Retribution apparently saying that they had contracts and they were signed to like ironclad contracts where they could do whatever they want when they want to do it. And we finally got to see the core five revealed. Dominik Dijakovic, Mia Yim, Dio Madden, former Raw announcer, and Mercedes Martinez. I couldn't tell who the fifth member was, but Dijakovic, Yim, Madden, Martinez. And then they got interrupted by the Hurt Business and all hell broke loose. I enjoyed the chaotic opening. They didn't leave much to the imagination when it came to the identities of four of the Retribution members, but the broadcast team did not call them out by name. And you have to assume there's someone in storyline WWE management working with Retribution. Shane McMahon makes sense, considering that he debuted Raw Underground on the same night that Retribution showed up, but that's a guess. Triple H is obviously another candidate. But all in all, wild and crazy start to this edition of Monday Night Raw this evening. So MF, apparently Retribution has, I guess what we can call ironclad contracts where they can do whatever they want when they want to do it.
Yeah, that's pretty much the premise. That's pretty much what they were claiming that they're in it. And the thing is that it's almost interesting that they went down this road talking about how bad about WWE and the whole 9 yards, yet they are now a part of not only WWE, but now is also exclusive to Monday Night Raw. Florio, they're your problem now. Good luck with that. So, it's interesting the way they framed it, the way they said it, and I actually don't mind the first rivalry being against the Hurt Business. Now, the Hurt Business is more of a heel faction, and now you're going into heel versus heel and the whole 9 yards, and I get it, but at least now we got clarity. We do know at least some of the members. Dio Madden, Donovan Dijakovic, Mia Yim, Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes was the shocker. I didn't think she was going to get called up, or I didn't think that she was going to be one of the five. It looks like, but we knew about Dijakovic from the beginning. We knew possibly Dio from the beginning, just on body structure and the whole 9 yards. Mia Yim was my personal pick because of the fact that when Keith Lee got called up, I was like, Mia has to go up. Now, a lot of people are like, no. Mia's not going to be one of the five. I was like, Mia will be one of them. I was right. Mia is one of them. The Mercedes Martinez was the one that kind of caught all of us by surprise. We didn't think it was going to be her. We all thought she was going to stay at NXT. We've heard Veronica Bourne's name get thrown around. We heard Chelsea Green name get thrown around. We know there was one, there was so many others that were getting thrown. The only person we don't know who is what is the fifth guy, because he's got the mask on and it's pretty well covered right now. So we don't know who number 5 is at the moment. Now, there's assumptions of who it could be, but we have no idea who number 5 is. And then on top of that, the ringleader. Who is running Retribution? Who's running this circus? We don't know. Shane is a good possibility, but why would Shane go after WWE? What type of bone would he like to pick with them? That would make no sense. Triple H? Yeah, okay, maybe, but there's not much of a story for him to be the ringleader of Retribution. You know, I don't see how that would make any sense. My theory is that it's got to be somebody who has a legitimate gripe with the company. Now, honestly, everybody's going to throw the name CM Punk out right out of gate. And that was the rumor for a while, that it's CM Punk, that he's the ringleader of Retribution. If it's Punk, that would be a game changer, because that would put eyes on the screen, because the voice of the voiceless being back in WWE for the first time in how many years? And don't talk about or say, oh, but Mike, he was on WWE backstage. No. He wasn't officially signed to WWE. He was officially signed by the Fox network to work on WWE backstage, because the show itself was not WWE centered, meaning WWE had no calls or nothing related to that show. This was Fox driven, like UFC Tonight used to be, and they went that route. That's why Punk said yes and jumped in. So it remains to be seen how it plays out, but this was a nice introduction for the whole crew. Didi Woodson, I give it to you.
It's the website.
Yeah, this was a good opener for the show. Yeah, we're getting to see now the main core of Retribution, and then we also got to see that there's a whole heck of a lot more that they're kind of like, I guess you'd say, Tozawa's ninjas. You know, these kind of come out everywhere. So yeah, this was definitely a good opener. So I really don't have much more to add. It's yours.
All right, and we're going to get into our first match of the night, which was a triple threat match to determine the number 1 contenders for the Raw Tag Team Championship. Angel Garza and Andrade, Seth Rollins and Murphy, Dominic Mysterio and Humberto Carrillo. Winning team in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. Stop me if this sounds familiar. Angel Garza and Andrade. MF, any more words of The Miz? Really?
Well, look, here's the thing. You're not going to push Dominic Mysterio yet. That would have been too soon for him to get a title shot. Way too soon to get a title shot. They're booking him the right way. They booked him with a good guy in Humberto Carrillo. I get it. But here's the thing. Rollins left Murphy high and dry. He left him high and dry to deal with something else. Because, pencil this in, it was supposed to have been Murphy and Rollins. There's no doubt in my mind they were going to be on paper, they were the favorites. But Rollins decided, nope, I got more pressing matters. And Murphy was actually doing good. Murphy was impressing. Murphy was shining in that match. But Rollins took his ball and went home and screwed Murphy over. So, obviously a lot of people are like, but Andrade and Angel Garza can't get on the same page. They're not reliable. notice something that you didn't see the last time around. No Selena Vega, and they were the most well-oiled machine I've ever seen in recent months. So, yeah, really? Yes, really, Florio. This time around, this is a different Angel Garza. This is a different Andrade. Because of the fact that they don't have Selena Vega whispering in their ear, and there's no it didn't look like there's no friction tonight. As a matter of fact, that looked like a tag team that could win the Raw tag team titles on Sunday night. So, you could say that this was maybe a 2.5 star fight. Short match, you can give me that, and I'll give you that. But there's gonna come to a point where either you put the belts on these guys, Street Profits is gonna have to lose it at some point, but the problem is, where is the other team? Once you get through them, there's really no other tag teams on Monday Night Raw now. You basically are completely depleted. Viking Raiders are down. You saw the injury. You know what happened. What other tag team is there on Raw? So you're stuck in a situation where you're gonna have to deal with it. Sorry, that's just my personal opinion. Like it or hate it, Didi Woodson, it's yours.
Definitely 2.5 star fight. I thought they could have done a little bit better job with, Dominic and Humberto, because they really just didn't look like they even really belonged in the match. They just, they didn't give them much to work with, because it seemed like it was dominated more by the other two teams. The two that looked the strongest in the match was Andrade and Murphy. They looked really good, even though Seth, left Murphy high and dry. Definitely Andrade and Angel Garza definitely look like they're on the same page this week. So yeah, it's starting to look like that Selena has been the problem the whole time. So I don't have much more to add. Like I said, it's 2.5 stars. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. Reason why I say it's, why I did that little really thing is because, it's been done. It's been done too many times, but I just hope there's a purpose to it. That's all I'm hoping for. I really do. And 2 to 2.5, yes. Action was fine. But some other things. What did Mysterio and Carrillo do to deserve a potential shot at the tag titles? Why did Dominic Mysterio have to lose another match that he shouldn't have been in? Why not just book Garza and Andrade to be the number one contenders, rather than going through the motions of booking a match that didn't really make sense from the start? WWE Creative has to settle down and focus. Because for the most part, this show was an abstract mess, and it showed no signs of stopping. As I've been saying, too many cooks in the kitchen. Too much too fast. That's been our downfall. And it showed again here tonight. But maybe we'll see new champions. Maybe it is. We'll see. Kevin Owens show, his guest, Shane McMahon. And Shane O'Mac brings out Dabba-Kato. Kevin Owens brings out Braun Strowman. All hell breaks loose here. So Didi Woodson, a quick comment on this?
Basically, they're just trying, I think, to mainly drum up interest in the Raw Underground, because this was a pretty big main event for Raw Underground, and actually the only match they've really even really hyped for the show. I mean, they've talked about, okay, the Viking Raiders are going to make an appearance, or Hurt Business is going to make an appearance. This is the first time they've actually drummed up this much interest, trying to drag people in to watch that last hour with Raw Underground. So, all in all, it was an all right segment. It did what it was supposed to do, but really really who really cares? Because the matches down there in Raw Underground don't last but maybe what 2-3 minutes. So it was a bit unnecessary, but it did accomplish what it was supposed to accomplish. So it's yours, Florio.
Yeah. It was interesting to see KO and Shano in the ring. First time in nearly a year after that ladder match that KO won on the Fox premiere of SmackDown last October. But Aleister Black, he came out, he got involved, he laid out KO, and it was yet another sloppy and unforgivable detail that was conveniently missed / undone / ignored. Besides that, this was lazy hype for a match that was meh at best. Kudos to Owens, though, for doing his absolute best to get this whole thing over. There are a few better antagonists in WWE than KO who really should be above this. And, it is what it is. But all in all, it was a solid say. It was all right. So, MF, quick comment?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, like you said, it was quick. There was a lot of interchangeable parts, but I will say this, that they did all right with it. The attack was definitely blindside, but it didn't get much relevance at all, which I really thought that they should have gone a little more deeper into. But it is what it is. But yeah, like you said, it was all right. So Florio, it's yours.
And we move on now to another one of the big matches that was promoted for this evening. WWE Champion Drew McIntyre, one-on-one with the limitless Keith Lee. Match ends in a no contest in 11 and a half minutes. Randy Orton strikes, ruins what was the fight of the night. No question about it. It's going to have to be an automatic NA, unfortunately. But even with this NA, it's not often we say an NA match was the fight of the night, but in this case it was. I would have given this about 3.25 stars at best. We definitely deserve a one-on-one match between McIntyre and Lee where the finish is not marred by any sort of interference. WWE Creative booked itself into a corner here and had no other option but to book it the way it did. McIntyre cannot afford a loss because he is the champion and does not need to eat a pin here. Lee, on the other hand, is still finding his feet on the main roster and should not be losing this soon. Orton interfering sets up his showdown with McIntyre, puts him in Lee's sights, and potentially sets up a series of matches with the Limitless one down the line. That is if WWE Creative is even thinking beyond one show at a time at this point. The ambulance match at Clash of Champions, not going to be for everybody because most of that particular gimmick match, not really all that good, but at least it's different. And it really is time to wrap this one up and move on, though. But the match was very good. And then from there, train of thought. Randy Orton cuts a very nice heel promo afterward. Another great vintage Orton promo like he's been doing the majority of this year. So there's nothing more to say except even with the NA, it's a fight of the night. And breaking news from Monday Night Football. Can you believe this, MF? The Las Vegas Raiders have just beaten the New Orleans Saints. Can you believe that? Wow.
They did. You know what? What a way to christen your brand new building with a huge victory over a really good New Orleans Saints team. But you know what? The thing was, Gruden made the key plays. Gruden and his boys made the key plays. And Daniel Carlson, what a kick. 54 yards to ice it. Unbelievable.
Indeed. And now Vegas now moves on to face Cam Newton and the Patriots in Foxborough on Sunday. That game just got interesting now. And the Saints have to go home and host a rejuvenated Aaron Rodgers and the Packers in the Dome on Sunday night. So.
And that's another really good game too. So
yeah,
no, we got some good matchups coming up this next week for the NFL.
And of course the big one next week.
Oh yes. Oh,
We're all
yes.
going to have a vested interest. Even Dee Dee Woodson's going to have a vested interest, and it's her team, for goodness sake.
Yep, it is. I mean, could it be a possible dream matchup of a possible AFC Championship game matchup?
Yes, 1,000 times yes.
Okay, well, he said it. I'm not saying it. I'm not saying anything. But yeah. Okay,
Saturday night cannot get here fast enough. Now let's get back to business.
let's get back to business. Indeed. First, as far as Randy Orton goes, yes, this was necessary. This was expected. We all knew he was going to interfere. We knew he was going to get involved. We knew he was going to attack. I think they did it fine. No problems. I don't got a bone to pick with that. Yes, this was the fight of the night. Yes, this would have been 3.25. It may be 3.5 if it kept going. But I understand the logic. I understand the booking. I understand everything that they did. I'm not mad. I think it was a little disappointing that they went down that road, but I understand it. I get it. There's nothing more for me to say. Dee Dee, you can go. It's yours.
Yeah, I can understand why they went that route as well. Because you're building the storyline, you're building the match up, and now they've pretty much confirmed that it's going to be Orton and McIntyre for the ambulance match. But I'm still not holding my breath that Keith Lee won't somehow get involved in the match because McIntyre got involved in Lee's match, so there's still a possibility, turnabout's fair play with that. So, not much more I have to add. Like I said, I can see what them bringing him out for the return. So yeah, it's yours, Florio.
All right. And next up, we had a number one contenders match for the Raw Women's Championship. Mickie James squaring off against Zelina Vega. Winner of the match, 4 minutes and 15 seconds, Zelina Vega, with this very interesting backstabber type maneuver for the win. MF, I know the match was rather meh, but lo and behold, we finally have something fresh on Monday Night Raw. Fresh Raw Women's Championship matchup. Asuka squaring off against your girl Zelina Vega, and I'm sure. Well, this is not a big surprise, based on what we saw last week. So, I'm guessing now. You guys want to address this? Zelina Vega now the number one contender for the Raw Women's Championship. MF, your girl.
I mean, solid match. Okay. Not the best out of the, not the best, but we've seen Zelina. We've seen her as a Rosita back in Impact Wrestling, so we know she can definitely bring it. This is a big moment for her because this is a big opportunity as it pertains to WWE. I think this is her first ever title match on the main roster because I don't ever remember her going for the NXT women's title either. So this is a first time for her to go for the main title, the biggest title match of her career. And I'm going to say it, this is a big deal. And I am very excited for her for this event to happen. Now, obviously Asuka is a major favorite to knock off Zelina. I think that it's given, there's no doubts. We're not gonna gloss over it. But for her to at least get an opportunity, a shot at the title, that's big enough. That's historic enough, and that's pretty awesome. Now, can she pull it off? Can she shock the world? Well, that remains to be seen, and I think the odds of that happening is pretty slim to none. So I think Asuka will successfully defend the title, and then we'll have our next challenger, whoever that may be. But yeah, congratulations to Zelina Vega for at least getting a shot at the title. Nothing more to say.
What do you say, Dee?
Yeah, the match definitely was too short for my liking, but it was definitely good to see, a different mix up and, uh, even going into Clash of Champions, we still have a different mix up. Yeah, most of us know, Vega's history with the other companies and everything, and that, this is a big deal. This is her first uh, chance at a title, and, after, now her splitting from Andrade and Angel, she says it's her turn. So let's see where that goes, because definitely her as the manager didn't work out as we saw, and it seems like they're blossoming more without her. So let's see now what she can do and bring to the table on her own. So yeah, not much more I have to add. It's yours, Florio.
The only downside to all this is this got bumped to the kickoff show. This is not going to be on the main card. There's a match that I strongly feel should be on the main card. Another match that should be on the main card, not this one. But I think there's a big angle that might come out of that other match. So that's probably why they had to downgrade this one. And because of this, you would have to imagine, with this being on the kickoff show, you got to imagine this is probably going to be a straightforward win for Asuka. So 2 stars for the effort. I will say that. And it would have meant so much more if Mickie James hadn't seen her match with Asuka a week ago end in such puzzling fashion. With that said, it was a fairly solid, somewhat entertaining match that put Vega over as a threat in the ring, something she has never been presented on as on the main roster. While few believe she will actually defeat Asuka, a defining performance could very well be the start of the in-ring push so many have expected and hoped for out of Vega. So that's all there is to say on that. Yeah, we got cutouts now, folks. Well, actually, no. This one was fairly decent as well. We had Cedric Alexander against Apollo Crews, and Apollo Crews, even with the roll-up of Doom, Apollo Crews did win the match, 7.5 minutes. So, Didi Woodson, another fairly decent fight on this somewhat okay show.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it 1.5 stars. I mean, it was a nice little pin. The Samoan drop was kind of nice to see. But it was just, it was still kind of a mediocre match. So, but it was still good to see, them continuing the storyline, and hopefully we get this wrapped up pretty soon with Apollo and Cedric. So not much more I have to add. It's yours.
About maybe 2.5 for the effort. Why sacrifice Cedric Alexander, who was fresh off the heel turn and should be red hot, when Shelton Benjamin just as easily could have eaten the fall here and been no worse off for it? The post-match beatdown that ended with Lashley's The Hurt Lock on Crews hardly does enough to promote or hype his United States title defense against Crews this Sunday night. With those two things taken into account, this was merely a match for the sake of a match with no real storyline advancement or benefit to any of the men involved. And this was the match that I strongly believe should be on the kickoff show. But considering that that Retribution and the Hurt Business have a big thing going, I wouldn't be surprised if Retribution gets involved, and that's probably why they wanted to save this for the main card instead of the women's match. I would have done it different, but it is what it is. But I will give it a solid 2.5 for the effort. So nothing more to say. I'm at your thoughts.
Not only do I think that's going to happen, I think we're going to have a new United States champion because of that. I think Apollo is going to benefit from that, and I think Apollo is going to win the belt back. And, yeah, like you said, 2 stars. Look, the logic doesn't make any sense, but I get it. Okay, fine. Like you said, this easily could have been Shelton Benjamin, and that would have given Apollo a better momentum, whatever you want to say, but I get it. No problems with it. Good win for Apollo, because that gives him momentum going into the title match. on Sunday. Yeah, he did get a little beaten down, but with Retribution definitely around, I could definitely see Retribution getting involved, costing Bobby Lashley the United States Championship, and yeah, Apollo Crews could benefit and win the belt. So yeah, you're absolutely right. There's really nothing more to add. Anthony, it's yours.
All right. Now we're going to get into a segment where the three of us, myself, MF, and D, we actually addressed in our Facebook Messenger chat Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins came down and he had an envelope in his hand, and he called out the Mysterio family, and we thought we were going to have a rehash of the infamous 2005 angle with Rey Mysterio and Eddie Guerrero over the paternity and custody of Dominic. It looked like it was headed that way. But then the attention then shifted to Rey's 19-year-old daughter, Aaliyah. Beautiful 19-year-old daughter, Aaliyah. And you remember last Monday night on Raw, we saw Aaliyah comforting or checking on Buddy Murphy after the beatdown by Rollins in the cage match. But what really opened our eyes was that Rey Mysterio, yes, he addressed her age. That was one thing, but he called her naive. And then you saw the look in her face, and she just stormed off. Baby girl was pissed, let me tell you. And they tried to calm her down in the back, but nothing doing. And Rey tried to apologize, but Aaliyah wasn't having it. She walked off, and Rey tried to go after her, but Angie said, no, let her go. And then there was a brief backstage moment where Murphy apologized to Aaliyah. So, wow. This was another step toward an apparent Aaliyah heel turn, which I think could be a lot of fun if they pull this off. And that said, it seemed like they could have gotten to the same place without the DNA testing talk. I guess someone really wanted to pay homage to the late great Eddie Guerrero, the legendary angle from back in the day. But a lot of people are slamming this segment, but not us. So we all enjoyed this segment. We all, had a lot to say about this segment on our messenger chat, and that was one of the reasons why I wanted to get into this show tonight. I mean, this was not the best show. I easily could have called for a cancellation, but I felt that this was something that definitely needed to be addressed because MF was the one who initiated it in our messenger chat. So with that being said, MF, I'm just going to turn it over to you. I mean, you were the one who got the ball rolling on this. I mean, why did you want to address this segment in particular?
It's not that I really wanted it to address the segment in particular. It's the way that this went. Now, we honestly were thinking, oh my God, are they really going to go down to Dominic Mysterio, that Rey's not Dominic's son again? Are we really going to go down that road? I mean, that would have been recycled. Then when they turned it into that situation with Aaliyah, I was like, where are you going with this? Then when Rollins was talking about what Aaliyah did about a week ago, checking on Murphy and the whole 9 yards, and then Rey's comments really bothered me. And that's when I knew. I'm like, oh my God, Rey, what have you done? That is the wrong thing to say and the worst thing you can ever say to a daughter. Now, look, I don't have daughters. Anthony doesn't have them. Michael Bullock doesn't have them. Derek, I know, doesn't have any. Dee Dee, you can relate to this because you're a mother. You have daughters. I don't think that to tell somebody who's 19 years old that they're naive, I think is the worst parent mistake you can ever make. And that's why I really wasn't happy with Ray at that moment. Because I think I know enough that they are very strong, very powerful, and they would like the utmost respect and deserve the utmost respect like any other person in the world. That's a trigger word. When you call somebody naive, it just sets some people off the wrong way. And for me, the look on Aaliyah's face said the whole story. Now, Ray was looking like, what have I done? Like, wait, what? He didn't realize it until after the fact. But trust me, I know for a fact if I was a father, I would be apologizing to the high heavens right now to Aaliyah. The other interesting part of this is look how much closer her and Buddy Murphy has gotten now within 2 weeks. I think she was more like, are you okay? Are you cool? Are you alright? Because she probably felt sorry for Murphy because of what happened to Seth. Now, Murphy has returned the favor. I don't think... Okay. Now, the way I'm going to play this out, I think this is a little more different than what we were thinking. Seth is trying to play the angle of maybe Aaliyah is not Ray's daughter. We all know she is. There's no doubt about it. He's trying to drive the wedge that to try to destroy the Mysterio family from within. He can't do it with Dominic. He's gonna try to wedge it in through Aaliyah. But there's something else that's going on that I don't know if either one of you are catching. Murphy and Aaliyah. There might be something going on. And I think that might be the angle they might be going to. A romance angle between Murphy and Aaliyah. Maybe they work together. Now, Aaliyah is going to be very fuming with her family. She's not going to be happy. Maybe she leans on Murphy a little more. Maybe Murphy might lean on her for that emotional guidance because of what Seth is going through. So, you might have Seth on one side, the Mysterios on the other end, and Murphy and Aaliyah are starting to come to the middle. Now, does Seth try to manipulate Murphy to keep playing with Aaliyah? Or is Murphy, and I'm going to be very honest, is he genuine? Is he conciliatory? Is he truly, in his heart, grateful for Aaliyah and what she's been doing for him? That's going to be the big storyline that's coming out of this. There might be a romance angle down the line between Aaliyah and Buddy Murphy. Now, I know that's going to ruffle quite a few feathers in the room. But I need to say it. And I'm going to be real honest with you about it, too. That could be an angle that could be very interesting if they do go down that road, and it looks like they might. So, I don't think you're going to get a full-fledged Aaliyah heel turn. I could see it go where she might be a tweener in this. Murphy might be a tweener in this, because he might be to the point where he just might say, you know what? I'm done trying to listen to the Messiah because I've seen the light through a wonderful, genuine young lady that's helping me and making me feel whole. Where Aaliyah might be on the same thing. She got burned by the family, but she's now in comfort with this young guy who seems to be genuine with his apology, who seems as, maybe somebody lost that maybe could help him, and she could help him, and he could help her. Who knows what this could be? But this is more. This a couple of more layers now than there was, where we thought that maybe there was a recycled storyline that we should never have gone to a storyline that really kind of, when I saw it, I was like, wait a minute. Now this is interesting if they go down this road. They kind of got me a little intrigued. I will say that. I got nothing more to add. I hope you guys understand my logic from it. So, Dee, if you want to jump in, it's all yours.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of different plays on how this is going to come out. And yeah, the romance angle was one of the ones that I have heard. Yeah, it's a little creepy with the fact that Murphy's like twice her age, but it is what it is. If that's the route they go, then that's the route they go. They did kind of hit the recycled storyline, because he did come out and say that Dominic wasn't Ray's kid, that he had the proof, which he really didn't show any. He really didn't show anything, and had the manila envelope with the paper and everything. And then he hit us with this on, maybe I should have checked her instead. And so yeah, like I said, I've heard the romance thing. I've heard her going with Seth and Murphy. I've heard Murphy going with the Mysterios. Either way, or even if they go on their own, it's going to be interesting to see how this is going to definitely play out. With her being 19, though, they really do kind of need to watch what they do with this, because he is so much older, and she is, here she is, she's just coming out of high school. So but if you go back to the tag team match, even when they were coming out, Murphy didn't look like he quite completely trusted Seth then either. And then of course Seth walks out on him, so they gave him even more reasons not to trust Seth. So it's really is looking like it's not going to go that route with Murphy and Aaliyah going with Seth. It looks like that that tie is going to be broke there. The tie isn't completely broke with the family yet, so we'll have to kind of see what happens with that. Like Ray said, he's raised her to be compassionate and caring, but yeah, when you have a teenager, doesn't matter if it's a male or female, you don't go out in public, especially though with the females. You don't go out in public, in a public arena or whatever, and call them, naive. Tell them that, that they don't know as much as, everybody else does, because this generation definitely is smarter in a lot of different ways. I mean, coming from me, we didn't, we just started having computers and stuff when I was in school. And here, these kids, they've got iPads, they've got cell phones, they've got personal computers and everything that they're learning on. So these kids are not naive. None of them are naive. And she definitely has grown up in the business, so she definitely is not naive. She knows everything that Dom knows. She knows everything that her dad knows. So yeah, she's definitely not a naive young lady. And we all know that both Dom and her are legally raised. So that's just one storyline. They just kind of need to stop trying to do that, because it's proven that they're both his. I mean, you can look at them and tell that they're, the two are related. The two, look like um the parents, especially if you go back in time and see the pictures from WCW where Ray didn't have the mask on. You can tell the kids are his. The kid, and Dominic may have some height, but it is what it is. To people, everybody's different. I mean, I'm short. I'm only 5'4", yet all my kids except for one, they're taller than I am. So I mean, that happens. Kids. It is what it is. I mean, just looking at a picture and saying, "Oh, he's not his because of the height," or "She's not his because she did this." There's no basis behind it. They need to stop kind of trying to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, this was definitely an interesting angle. It's definitely building something even more here. So we'll just have to see what happens with this. So it's yours, Florio.
All right. We got another cutout here. We got a couple more actually. We had Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax against Natalya and Lana. Baszler and Jax win in a minute. Dud. Nothing more to say. Move on. Asuka against Peyton Royce. That ends in a no contest. 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Zelina Vega attacks Asuka. That was another meh match. And then you had the Raw Underground with Dabba-Kato and Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman actually went on to win the match. And now we normally push for, clean finishes and whatnot, but I don't know why they felt the need to have Dabba-Kato lose his first high-profile match and fight. But anyways, the main event of the evening, a 6-man tag team match. Retribution in their first match. It's they're known as Mace, T-Bar, and Slapjack. Dio Madden is Mace. Dominic Dijakovic is T-Bar. And the third guy is Slapjack. Hurt Business actually wins the match via disqualification. 6.5 minutes. The whole Retribution stable got involved. And then Drew McIntyre and the Raw roster show up. And then all hell breaks loose here at the end. So nothing to the match here. Nor was Retribution really that impressive in their first outing here. The match was seemingly set up to deliver the big brawl and set up Orton's RKO as WWE put the finishing touches on the build to the ambulance match for the WWE Championship at Clash of Champions. In that regard, it worked, but that certainly is not the reason the audience stayed tuned to the last match of the show. Underwhelming close that was completely apropos given the rest of the show. So I'm just going to throw that out. let's get to our quick overall thoughts. Dee Woodson, we'll start it off with you here. Not a good show this evening.
No, I'm gonna give it about 4.5 stars. It really wasn't that great. And from what I'm reading, the Slapjack, I guess is what his name is supposed to be Voorhees. I'm not entirely familiar with him because I guess they don't show him a whole lot on NXT, but supposedly he's the third male member of the group. So yeah, he had his face covered more than anybody else's still, so it kind of makes it a little harder to tell by looks on that one. But yeah, it was definitely storyline building in certain issues, certain cases, but at the same time, things didn't make entirely a whole lot of sense. For me, if I was booking this, I don't think I would have put Retribution and Hurt Business as the main event. I think I would have done, your big title for the main event, because that's what you usually do. You don't usually throw it that early into the show, but Vince don't seem to have a brain in his head anymore, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. We had some interesting backstage stuff. We had some interesting in-ring stuff. We had some unnecessary crap. Of course, 24/7 crap. I mean, that's getting to be kind of stupid, and to the point where everybody just kind of wants it to go away. Yeah, R-Truth makes it fun, but at the same time, we're now at a beach and you have sharks that are now eating people. That's kind of getting stupid. And then now we have little Jimmy back. I mean, it's really weird. But as far as, some of these things, some of these storylines have gone on for quite a while. They need to be wrapped up. And we need to stop, throwing Lana through a table. A lot of it, I think, is WWE's punishing her for Rusev's comments. But if you're going to put her out there in the ring, let her do what she needs to do in the ring, and let people like Natalya train her so that she knows what the heck she's doing out there. But throwing her through a table 2 weeks in a row, I mean, that's a bit redundant. It's stupid. I think we need to just kind of let that go and just move on. But yeah, and then you have Peyton and Billy out there together. I mean, they're not tag teams. They're still out there together as a unit, and but you can still see a little bit of the friction as well, because they were broke up in kind of a weird way. But yeah, not much more I'm going to add. I mean, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. Like I said, it was definitely storyline driven. Not the best go home show, but it is what it is. So I will hopefully see you guys later this week, but no promises. So good night, guys.
No worries at all, Dee. That's more than all right. So just let us know what's going on when the time's right. So yeah, I'm with her. This show is all over the place. And while it closed with Randy Orton taking out Drew McIntyre, the final segments of Retribution and Raw Underground were head scratchers, given that the faction and Shane McMahon's MMA playground were not advertised for the pay-per-view. And a lot of this stuff was all over the place, and we did have a couple of okay matches. Or McIntyre and Lee, even with the NA finish, was the fight of the night. Solid. Cruz and Alexander match, and a couple of other solid segments, and the Mysterio Rollins segment that was definitely the interesting segment of the night here. And even though we've been wanting for that feud to end, it's just not going to yet. I mean, we're still doing this, so I don't know. Another case of too many cooks in the kitchen, too much too fast, and that's it. I mean, who knows how long it's going to be before we get a great Monday Night Raw here. And now that Retribution's our problem, who knows how long? Who knows when will be the next time Monday Night Raw is actually going to be an above average show? What I would give for one. So, nothing more to say. Raw continues to be on the decline. SmackDown continues to be on the rise, and that's because they don't have Retribution, and they only have 2 hours to film instead of 3. So cut it down to 2. That's all there is to say on that. This 3-hour thing, tired, played out. Only do it for like big time special events. That's more than okay, but not every week. That's the biggest problem of them all. Not to mention repetitive matches, repetitive segments, and all this other stuff. So we're sinking. Nothing more to say. MF.
Yeah, I mean, look, it wasn't a good Raw, no doubt. I'm not gonna disagree with that. I'm not gonna poke any fun or anything like that because, like you said, last week's SmackDown could have been better and we underperformed. So it is what it is. There's really nothing more to add. You're right, and yeah. So Anthony, Tony's take, it's yours.
We're going to get into Impact Wrestling, and this show, I'll tell you, was much, much better, by the way. Knockouts tag action. Deonna Purrazzo, the Knockouts champion, and Kimberly Lee squaring off against Kylie Ray and Susie. Kylie Ray and Susie win the match 9 minutes and 8 seconds. 2.5 stars. It was a solid match to start with some good action, a mix of technical and some aerial moves. Nice to see Susie pick up a win and advance her descent towards Su Yung. Well, Kylie gets the momentum against the champ without Deonna needing to take the fall. Booking 101 here. And I think we're gonna get that Kylie Ray, Deonna Purrazzo title match at Bound for Glory. That's just my thought. Triple XL against the Deaners. Triple XL wins in 4 minutes and 1 second. 2 stars. It was a match, but it was better than what we've seen of Triple XL as of late. Not great or even super good by any stretch, but it did its job and nothing was particularly bad here. Trey Miguel against TJP. Trey Miguel wins in 7 minutes and 17 seconds, 2 3/4 of a star. Fast-paced match with a lot of aerial action encounters. Trey's selling of the effects of TJP's knee work was waiting just a bit. It got slightly spotty at times and a couple goofy moments like overselling the flick to the forehead. But all in all, it was solid. They seem to be setting up some kind of multi-man X Division match where everyone will have claimed the #1 contendership. I'm thinking maybe Ultimate X. That's what I'm thinking. Rich Swann cuts a promo. He calls out Scott D'Amore and tells Scott D'Amore, I want Eric Young for the World Heavyweight Championship. I know I'm hurt. I know what I have to do. I know I'm risking my career and whatnot, but I want Eric Young and I want the World Heavyweight Championship. Eric Young said, no, you don't deserve it, and all that. They went at it, and Scott D'Amore got caught in the crossfire, and Scott D'Amore said, all right, you know what? You know the risk. You're willing to take responsibility, and so MF, it's official. Bound for Glory. Eric Young, Rich Swann, World Heavyweight Championship, and wow, what a moment for Rich Swann. That's all I can say on that. So there's your Bound for Glory main event. Eric Young, Rich Swann for the Impact Wrestling World Heavyweight Championship. So looking forward to that. Willie Mack against Brian Myers. Brian Myers wins in 8 minutes, 2.5 stars. Best match of their series, and it was the result that needed to happen. Feud hasn't been exciting, but it's worked out fine. Myers got established with a couple cheap wins, but Matt got the babyface revenge after Myers got hoisted by his own petard. Nothing fabulous, but it worked. Kira Hogan, Taya Valkyrie, Kira Hogan in 314, 2 stars. As good as it could have been in barely over 3 minutes. Hogan got the cheap win after Taya dominates. Pretty much a by the numbers booking call here. That'll play into the rift between Rosemary and Taya. Nothing wrong here. Next week on the show, Kimberly goes one-on-one with Susie. TJP, Trey Miguel, Chris Bay in the number 1 contenders match for the X Division title. Tennille Dashwood against Jordan Grace. Main event was an 8-man tag. The North, Madman Fulton and Ace Austin against the Good Brothers and World Tag Team Champions, the Motor City Machine Guns. The heel team wins the match in 11.5 minutes. Fight of the night, 3 1/4 stars. Fast-paced and hard-hitting match that sold all 4 teams as equals. Set up the expected tag team 4-way at Bound for Glory. Strong main event as Impact continues to make the case that they have one of the best tag team divisions in wrestling right now. Keyword I said one of the best, not the best. We all know the best is AEW. So 7.5 out of 10. Last week's show focused more on the action, all of which was fairly good. Even Triple XL versus the Deaners, a match I didn't have high hopes for, wasn't bad. The company is staying focused on simple storytelling as it builds to Bound for Glory, and it's all working. Solid work all around. So there's really nothing more to say on that. So let's see. Quickly get into 205 Live, and they started off with the squash match. Arya Davari against Eli Knight. Arya Davari in 1.5 minutes. Who cares? Well, actually, we had 2 squash matches. Pointless and unnecessary. Move on. 3 squashes. Okay. That's enough. Danny Burch against Tony Nese. Tony Nese, 14 minutes, 3 seconds, wins the match. 3 1/4 stars. It started slow, and I really could have done without the Davari stuff, but this was pretty good. Without the Davari story running through this one, they could have taken this to another level. The match stuff to start was great, but it took time to get back in gear once Davari came out with a distraction. Overall good, though, and I like that they were given time. 3 1/4 stars. 7 out of 10. It was a one-match show, and it was a good one, so that makes the show a winner. The stuff with Davari, beyond pointless and unnecessary. It should be leading to a Burch and Davari match, which might be good. We'll see. Easy show to watch this week, and I appreciated the break in the 3-match formula we've been given since the Thunderdome opened. Nice change of pace to see a match be given a little time again. More of this, please. So 7 out of 10 for that. Michael Bullock is here. Let's catch him up on what he missed from Monday Night Raw this evening. So, okay. So, bear with me for a minute here. All right. This was not a good show. And we rated it a 4.5 out of 10. Retribution has been given contracts, and apparently they've been given ironclad contracts where they could do what they want and whatever they want when they want to do it. And so Michael Bullock, I mean, I really don't know what the point is in going through everything again. Do you have maybe a quick thought on tonight's Raw, maybe?
I heard about it, so yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna make you go through it again, Florio, for your sake. So I'll just give you a quick thought.
Yeah.
You basically hit the nail on the head. This was not a good show whatsoever. I mean, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it whatsoever. So yeah, it's a 4 out of 10 for me. I mean, yeah, this is your go home show, and this is what you give us. No, that just it makes it like, why should we even bother watching this pay-per-view? I mean, we still got SmackDown. We can only hope SmackDown can give us a reason why we should watch this. But then again, with the way things have been going on that show, I'm not really holding my breath on that. Sorry, Florio. That's just how I feel. Yeah, so there's really nothing more to say. I'm gonna save you the trouble, Florio. So
Yes.
just go ahead and wrap it up.
All right, good. Okay. That will mercifully put the bow on this edition of Ridiculously Raw tonight. We want to thank you all so very much for putting up with us this evening. But it does get better. So busy week ahead. It starts Wednesday Night Mayhem. MF will have that on Brace Fair 95. We run down AEW, Dynamite, and NXT. We don't have anything to worry about. Both of those shows are going to be good. I know that. Thursday night, College Football Thursday, and we have our mega docket back. So we're gonna have the big docket starting this week and going forward, which is great. So a lot more to get into on,
Especially with the soon-to-be return of the Big Ten.
That's next month. SEC is SEC and really Big 12. That's what really is going to be the difference maker on Thursday night. Friday night, Cerebral Smack Talk. MF will have that. We'll run down Friday Night SmackDown, and we'll preview the Clash of Champions pay-per-view. Saturday night, NFL Saturday, Week 3 edition. Huge games on the docket. We'll get into all that. And then Sunday night, the recap of the Clash of Champions pay-per-view with MF. And then back here next week for Ridiculously Raw. Pray to God it's a much better show, but with the way the show's been going lately, with the too many cooks in the kitchen and the too much too fast, don't count on it. So that's it. So until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, it's Anthony Florio here for Michael Bullock and in spirit, good old MF Michael Fletcher, D.D. Woodson, and always and forever, Derek Forever. You know the routine. Everybody thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up what you for style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed couple of days. And until Wednesday night for Wednesday Night Mayhem, you were watching Ridiculously Raw right here. Zone 25 on YouTube and StreamYard.com. And remember, beyond anything else, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, and they play so long. Bye, everybody. Bye.